Sitkari Pranayama, described in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, chapter 2, starting with Sutra 54. Then Sitkari is described. Make a hissing sound with the mouth and release only through the nostril. By the yoga consisting of repeated practice of this, one becomes a second god of beauty, Kama Deva. Kama is desire, Deva is a god. You become a god of desire. First, do not make a hissing sound with the mouth. In this exercise, you let Shiva in. The hissing is nada. When you focus on Shiva energy flowing in, nada becomes louder. I explained before, when you're very tired or when you're sick, nada is loud. And the reason for that is, when you're tired or sick, the body requests large amount of Shiva to recover and or to heal. And that is why nada is loud in that case. Now you're not tired or sick, you use the power of the mind to increase Shiva inflow, and naturally nada will be louder. That is the hissing. So it's not something that you do with your mouth. If there is a mouth involved here, it is of course the cosmic mouth through which the Shiva energy flows in. You take Shiva in, accelerate it, kumbhaka, and then you let Shiva out. Slowly. Kumbhaka. So you let Shiva in, accelerate it. So fast Shiva inflow, kumbhaka, normal Shiva outflow, kumbhaka. This leaves you with a Shiva domination. Shiva domination, an exercise like Sitkari, is designed to heal or to recover from fatigue. When you're very tired, normally you lie down and go to sleep. You take a nap, or if it is night, you go to sleep for a number of hours until you wake up again in the morning. Sitkari Pranayama does achieve the same objective. It makes you rest. Because when you sleep, whether you take a nap or sleep at night, that is exactly what you do. You take in Shiva to recover and be recharged for the next day or the next activity. Now, about that last phrase. By the yoga consisting of the repeated practice of this, you become a god of beauty. Is that just an empty phrase? Or one of those mysterious things you often seem to come across? No, it indicates the quality of this pranayama exercise. What happens to people who are always tired? They look old. Their skin becomes unhealthy, wrinkled. They start looking old, ragged, tired. But if you're not tired, if you get plenty of rest, or if you do Sitkari Pranayama, your skin becomes healthier again. You start radiating again, shining again. That is what this means. You become a god of beauty, or a second god of beauty. means you will look better, you will look healthier. Because of course, gods, they are perfect, they're always beautiful. You just look healthier, younger. Shakti energy burns us up. We need Shakti to move, to be active. But if we are too long dominated by Shakti, it starts to burn us up. Oxidation, literally oxidation takes place of the cells. It wears us out. It exhausts us, and in the end we become sick. It's a problem that many people, if not most people, are battling with in the societies that we live in, because we are dominated by the clock, by our work schedule. '55. You become an object of high regard among the circles of yogis and yoginis. You're able to create and destroy. Neither hunger nor thirst, somnolence nor indolence arise in you. As an extension of that phrase where you've been told that you become a second god of beauty, you become an object of high regard among other people. Beauty is attractive. People see you, feel you. So you become an object of high regard. Not necessarily only among yogis and yoginis, which is basically telling us you become more attractive. And attraction is not only physical, it's not only in the increased complexion, improved complexion of your skin and your outlook and your the energy that you vibrate, that you radiate. It's also a matter of inner beauty, of course. Then you are able to create and destroy. Now that sounds scary. And if you read some of those traditional Indian books, which are all based on symbolism, you see indeed gods that destroy. They use weapons and fire and what have you to destroy. It looks very violent, because they take that symbolism from texts like this and take it literally, and then picture that in a story. But this is subtle. This is not about literally breaking things and damaging and destroying things. This is describing the ability to control. Shiva energy is responsible for multiplication of the cells. Shiva energy is responsible for growth. Shiva energy is responsible for restoration. You are able to create. Shiva energy is creation. Shakti energy, however, that is what destruction means here. Shakti energy is expansive, is moving, is action. Not destruction in a literal sense, that you start damaging things, although you could. There are people who are naturally very Shakti dominated, and if they have no control mechanisms, they do become violent and destructive, literally destructive. Remember, we read in a text before that Nadishodhana Pranayama makes the moon steady in men. Remember? And I explained that means that most men have this tension surrounding them, because the moon is not steady in them, means that they do not have the power of Shiva. So they want to dominate, they want to conquer, and they do that without regard of other people's interest. So they can indeed damage and destroy with that kind of behavior. The moon becoming steady in man is the result of Shiva energy, leading to the feminine qualities that all men and women alike can possess. So being able to create and destroy means you are able to let Shiva dominate or let Shakti dominate at will, by choice. You become a master of the universe, in charge of your own circumstances. This is significant because normally people are controlled by circumstances. We will act and react depending on the circumstances that we find ourselves in, which also means we will be happy or unhappy depending on the circumstances that present themselves in our lives. Yoga says, well, that is how it works in ignorant people, but if you understand how this works, little by little you can take control. And instead of being the victim of circumstances, you are the one that creates circumstances, and you find yourself in circumstances and you choose not to go along with it. That is what the master of the universe means. You become able to create and destroy. You become able to determine your own action and reaction regardless of the circumstances. That sounds very logical, but most people simply go along with the circumstances that come their way, not in control of how they react or how they feel. Strength of body is gained by this practice, Sutra 56. And the Lord of yogins becomes surely free of afflictions of every kind on this earthly sphere. Surya Vedana Pranayama took care of infectious diseases and lack of intellect. Ujjayi Pranayama took care of chronic diseases, all diseases caused by lack of both Shiva and Shakti, overall lack of energy. Sitkari Pranayama takes care of another issue. You have healed yourself from infectious diseases and chronic diseases. Now you gain strength of body because cells that are well rested and full of energy lead to strength. And you become surely free from afflictions of every kind on this earthly sphere. You become healthier and stronger and much less susceptible to the normal ailments and diseases that people are suffering from. You're less likely to become sick. Questions? Next week we will complete the course with Shitali Pranayama. You will see that last pranayama for this course has very particular qualities also. There is a very logical build-up that most people fail to see, but you find that structure in every aspect of yoga. In asana, in pranayama, in mudra, and also in meditation, the build-up of meditation in samadhi also. Okay? We start with Sitkari Pranayama. Fast Shiva inflow, Kumbhaka, Shiva outflow. Kumbhaka. Then you perform Sambhavi Mudra. Start with pride. Try to really dream the feeling of pride. Feel it in your bones, so to speak. Do it with heart and soul, with the fantasy of a child, the imagination of a child. So start with pride, a sense of pride. Then a sense of beauty, followed by ego, loyalty, solidity. Forget about the fingers, forget about the senses that are involved, smell, taste, eyesight, touch and hearing. These are all symbolism, not so important. What really is important is that you feel these emotions and use them as tools to manipulate your energy and make large amounts of Shakti energy rise up. It will fast track your process of moving the natural center of gravity of consciousness of most people is below the diaphragm. Because of our education and upbringing, we have learned to function in Ajna Chakra using the intellect with some flashes of the crown chakra, but overall the center of gravity of our consciousness is below the diaphragm. So we are dominated by emotions, lower emotions and desires. The goal of yoga is to transfer the center of gravity of consciousness to the crown chakra. As a result of your yoga practice, you will function more and more in Ajna Chakra and the crown chakra with little side trips to the lower chakras. Because they always function as one, but now you are more and more functioning here with flashes of functioning in lower chakras. They have important functions, while in untrained people, the condition is reverse. You're mainly with your consciousness below, the lower emotions and desires, with flashes of activity on the higher levels. Now you are with your main functioning is in the higher levels of consciousness with flashes of activity in the lower chakra. So with this Sambhavi Mudra, which you do in the advanced course, you do this for a year, every class. So it is an exercise. Is the exercise that you basically focus on the longest in basic, advanced, and master course, which indicates it's an important exercise. If you keep repeating that, you slowly but certainly bring about that transition where you are more and more functioning in the crown chakra. It is a subtle process. You will not consciously be aware of it, but it changes the way that you function. It changes the way that you see yourself and the world. And 1 year later, if you look back, you will see a significant transformation having taken place. But while you're in that process, you do not really see it taking place because it's very gradual. But 1 year later, you look back, you compare, and you will see a big transformation having taken place. Okay? The final part, when you're done with Sambhavi Mudra, is concentration on Nada. There will be about 10 minutes left, is my guess, between 10 and 15 minutes left after Pranayama and Sambhavi Mudra. Okay? The total time is increased to 40 minutes because we add Sambhavi Mudra. The count of the Pranayama is the same, 20, 80, 40, 80.